Hello, everyone. It's your friend Tristan Miller. I'm just here to inform you that I'm recording my first stand-up comedy album and special on May the 4th in New York City at Caveat at 4 p.m. You can go to the link in my bio on my social media platforms, or you can go to caveat.com, go to May the 4th, and buy tickets there. Highly recommend that you get them early as they are cheaper that way. Also, after the show, I'm going to go, Phantom Menace is playing in theaters. So I'm going to take a big group to go to the nearest AMC or whatever Cineplex and go see my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say it with my full chest. My favorite Star Wars movie in theaters again. So hope to see you at both things. If you have to pick one, just pick my show, please. I would like to sell out the house if possible. Anyway, love you. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Coming soon to theaters, podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where, what? Check my notes here. We make a movie? My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is, say your name.
Joe Harrington.
There he is. Joe Harrington, everybody. Improviser extraordinaire. How did you start improvised comedy? What led you to such a lowly state?
What led me to the depths of hell? I would say I started in college. I quite shamefully I majored in comedy in college. I went to a school with a comedy program. And
that's
so
cool.
It's equally cool and equally lame to be a comedian and be like, yeah, I paid money to be good at this.
Sure, yeah. It does make every open micer go scratch their head. I'm like, I'm just doing this for free. But it's like, yeah. But on the other hand, they're also paying $5 for 5 minutes or whatever. So really, who's the sucker, you know?
Exactly. There's a lot of lies that I like to tell myself that this is a good choice. But yeah, I started doing it in Chicago in college. And it was super fun. And I did so much of it in college and then didn't do it for a little bit. And then since being in New York, I've been doing it a bunch. So it's been super fun. Yeah.
What, can I ask what I went to?
I went to Columbia College, Chicago.
Nice. Very good. Cause I know I'm from Minnesota and I know U of M had a comedy degree. It's pretty rare. So I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
What brought you to New York, if not improv?
Well, just comedy in general. So I lived in Chicago for 6 years, but I always knew that I wanted to come to New York. That was the end goal of the comedy pursuit. So eventually I was it's time. I've been in Chicago for 6 years, like I said. So it was time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have a very good improv team, Slop. I've seen you perform. Yeah. That's why I reached out to you. I was like, these boys are pretty funny. How did y'all meet?
We met by doing the improv jam at BCC. Probably a year and a half ago almost. Right when I moved here, I started going there and we all met and we're all silly boys. So
that's great.
It works. Yeah.
If you don't want to answer this for political reasons, I understand. BCC I really love, and I just started taking classes at Second City as well. Do you have you have a show at UCB sometimes? Do you have a preferred?
Where's the spot?
Yeah, where do you find yourself being most at home out of all the improv theaters?
I think I'll always love BCC the most. There's so many good ones. I have loved going to UCB too, and Second City is cool, but I think BCC just has so much of a community aspect to it, and it feels it's where the freaks can go and be safe.
Yeah,
that's what I like about it. It sort of has an alt style. Like it embraces that, which I think is fun. And it reminds me so much of the Annoyance Theater in Chicago, which I was my main spot in Chicago. So it feels like home in New York.
That's great. I'm glad to hear. I kind of find the same thing. Like, I've been enjoying my classes at Second City, but there's a certain level of wildness to the BCC that I really enjoy. Like, the same show I saw Slot perform. One of the bits that the other team was doing was like, oh no, I spilled all the spaghetti and I have to clean it up and you're my mom and I'm also horny about it. Like, it's like really weird sort of stuff. Whereas there's a lot of like scenes in banks in my class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But Second City is great. It's definitely just a different style. Like,
absolutely.
More grounded, more real. And then BCC is just more like chase whatever you think is fun, and it leads you to some weird places.
Absolutely. You said you also do other comedy. Do you do stand-up, sketch? What's the deal?
Yeah, I do like character stuff.
Cool.
Like, love doing characters on shows. I do a lot of sketch as well. Like, I have a sketch duo called Disco Horses that I'm in plug mode. We recently got back from Edinburgh Fringe.
Hell yeah.
And we're doing New York Comedy Fest in November.
Oh, sick.
So yeah, so like sketch, improv, character, like those three are my things. I don't really do stand up at all, though.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like it's kind of, if you're a character based performer, it's really hard to switch mindsets, because with stand up, it's so much coming from yourself. And I'm realizing more and more, I do a fair amount of stand up. I'm like, I probably should be doing more of the other things, but because I find a little bit more satisfaction sometimes in it. But that's very cool. Well, I know you a little bit more now, Joe, which is great.
Wow. Yeah. It's true.
I feel closer to you.
There's nothing else to know about me, by the way. Like, I have no other qualities or type. I'm like half kidding, but like it's pretty much it.
Sweet Midwestern boy that loves to make you laugh.
That's pretty much it.
There you go. That's so funny. Yep, that's it. Don't worry about it.
There you go. You got it all, actually.
Great. That means I'm a fantastic interviewer, I guess.
Yeah,
that's,
it's true.
Call me Terry Gross, because I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some movie trivia?
I'm so ready. Yeah.
Okay, great. First question, as always, I pose this to all of my guests. What is movie?
Great question.
Thank you.
There is a right answer, and I have it. Movie is a lot of pictures, but the cool thing is that they go together, and sometimes they add sound on it. And there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's it. There you go. That's movie. Yeah.
Excellent. Great answer. Way to go. This one might be tricky. What is your favorite movie?
Wow. That is tricky. Wow. I'm gonna there's like 10 I could say.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say, this might be a surprise, The Sound of Music.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What about it?
Yeah. It's just such a beautiful movie. You know, the scenery, the music, it feels very wholesome, minus obviously the whole Nazi thing. When you look past that, you're like, this is wholesome. And yeah, it's just a beautiful movie. It's like a family favorite in my family. Like, we watch it like every year. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful picture. Switching gears. What actor would you steal a car from?
This is a great question, and one I think about every single day of my life. I would steal a car. I think I'd steal a car from Paul Giamatti, just to like.
Why you're taking my car?
Yes, literally, just to hear him yell. just to like see what it brings out of him. What do you? I can't do an impression, but like, what are you? Something like that. What are you doing?
My Nissan Altima.
Yeah, I feel like
whatever it is,
it'd just be really funny just to see him react. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stomping around.
Yeah, you'd be very pouty.
Yeah, I've tried to figure out because like I've never thought about doing a Paul Giamatti impression until I saw a clip from Dropout, and I'm trying to be like, I'm worried about your act. No, I can't do it today. It's whatever. What movie?
I can.
Are we? Where? A siren's going off on my end. What neighborhood are you in as well?
Oh, I'm on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
Okay, then no, then it's just coincidence. Because I'm like, I swear to God, if you're also in Astoria, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. God, this city.
You know, beautiful.
Yeah.
What movie makes you the horniest? It can't be pornography.
Damn it. There goes my first 30 choices. Wow. Huh. Oh, wow. Man. I'm like trying to even think of like one example of like a hot and heavy movie that I enjoy.
Okay.
Doesn't
need to be a horny movie. You just need to be made horny by it.
It just makes me horny.
Yeah. Like Batman Forever is also like a movie, like having recently saw it. A lot of hot people in that movie. That could be stuff, you know, it can be anything.
Okay, that's fair.
Inside Out 2.
Wow. Yeah.
Whatever.
I cannot tell you why, but the only movie that's coming to my head is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I don't know why. There's like a car in it, like a fast car.
You love a sick little boy.
And you know me. Yeah. Yeah, I guess just like the mischief of it all. Like nothing gets me hot and heavy like a rule breaker, you know? And he's the guy for rule breaking.
It's true. It's true. It also probably makes you feel a little safe because it's in Chicago, right? So you feel at home.
I'm already horned up because of that anyway. So yeah.
I feel like there's that element of like being horny that I mean, it's not true of everybody, I suppose, but I feel like feeling safe is like a big part of it.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you do have to feel safe, actually.
Yeah, you have to be like, oh, I'm going to let myself feel horny, because otherwise you're just kind of just suppressing your... Is horny emotion or a state of being, do you think?
I guess it's more of a state of being.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's more like instinctual than emotion even is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You wouldn't say I feel horny.
No. You just are.
Yeah. One is just horny.
Yeah. Can I change my answer to The Sound of Music?
Yes, absolutely. You can.
Okay.
It's the goat herd scene, right?
It's minute 1 to minute 120.
Excellent.
That I'm horny during that
movie. Next question. What director do you think is the best actor?
Oh, good question. Maybe I'm gonna say I have like a few that are floating around, and I don't really agree with any of them actually. Okay. Because at first I was like Bo Burnham popped into my head because I was like I love 8th Grade, but I love the man, but I have seen him act occasionally, and I'm like, that's maybe not acting, and maybe just you.
Sure, yeah.
So, and no diss against Bo Burnham. I know that he's a loyal fan, so I will, when he listens, he'll know that
he's
I'm
a big,
yeah.
I get missives from him all the time.
Yeah.
He sends me these songs like, what do you think about this one? And I'm like,
does he really?
Yeah. Like, change the key though, but I think you're in a good place.
Yeah, this is really funny though, actually. Maybe Greta Gerwig.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to know your answer because I feel like I'm only thinking of a few, and I feel like there's so many I'm not thinking of right now.
Sure. I would say my favorite director that turned actor is David Lynch. I think he's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But is he really good? Whatever. He's kind of just, showing up as himself and yelling.
Yeah,
Not yelling, shouting, I should say. Because he's the character, he mostly plays as deaf in one ear. But I think Greta is a great example, but she also started as an actor, so it's like kind of tricky.
Yeah,
I think when Scorsese puts himself in movies, he does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. I think also who had a cameo in something I can't remember. I think like John Carpenter did, and he was like surprisingly good. Because there is something that like, and then someone who's like not great at it per se is like Peter Jackson. He shows up and he's doing okay. Like he's done like sketches and stuff. But I always find it so interesting when a director can't give themselves the advice that they would give an actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes, yeah.
You get some really great performances and then like they can't do it. And I'm like, how does that work? That's so interesting that your brain can't modify it like that. If we're going for pure, if it can be an actor that turned director, then Philip Seymour Hoffman. Best to ever do it.
That's probably, that's probably the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think the best cinema snack is? What's your preferred go-to?
I will eat like a whole large bucket of popcorn by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I am a fiend for popcorn.
Hell yeah.
This is like, I'm not just picking the easy answer. Like, this is a big part of who I am. I'm a big popcorn enjoyer in and out of the movies.
So it's comedy, Midwest, Chicago, popcorn.
And popcorn.
Those are the three things you need to know about you.
Yes, that's it. Do
you put on the butter or no?
Yeah. And I tried to I remember I once saw this video where it was like a Facebook video, like life hacks. So just like an awful video like that. But it was like, they had like a straw and they put it in the thing and they like fed it into the bottom of the bucket, like in the butter dispenser, so that the butter would get like from the bottom up. And I've never gone that hard, but when I'm at the movie, I'll try to like get a little hole going so that the butter can go all the way. Like I do my best to, I go all out,
That's great.
Yeah.
Popcorn does rule.
It's so reliable.
It's so reliable. It's so bad for you, but it's so good. It's like heroin.
It's just a vessel for butter and salt. Yeah.
I have no idea what this next question means, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think success is worse than not success?
No.
No, you don't think it's worse.
I think success is awesome. Yeah.
You hear that, Chapel Roan? Joe thinks you're right.
You hear that?
It's very funny.
This is also someone who has not had like a major success, so maybe someday.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Sorry, I just got really angry. maybe someday I'll get it. And then I punch my computer.
Well, I think we found a clip for promotional purposes. Also the idea of you going, well, I haven't been a lot of success. Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, it's just immediately evident.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so once you're at a certain level, I will come back and ask you that question.
We'll circle back. Yeah.
For sure. 3 more questions, then we're done. And then we'll get to the game. What Star Wars character do you want them to never make a Disney Plus series about?
where you'd be like, oh, what?
Yeah, yeah. Um, maybe like I feel like Darth Sidious. I don't think that would be enjoyable
No.
because I feel like it'd be a lot of him sitting in a chair and a lot of him just being like, what's happening? And then they're like, there's like a war and like this guy, we're worried about this Luke guy. And he's like, nah, do something about it. Like, I feel like it'd be a lot of just him being like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
This could have been an email. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get Zoom to work.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
I have to file this I-9 real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Like, when's lunch? And they're like, whenever you decide, then now. Like, okay. Sure.
I do like that interpretation as well of like, he's in the middle of being emperor. Because initially I was like, oh yeah, like, because there's been a lot of talk about, a rise of Palpatine story could be interesting.
Yeah,
and I like how you were like, absolutely not. It's what? How is he managing the universe?
I think like how we see him in like the original films, like that's what I'm imagining. And I think
for sure
that the action we see in those films is the only action that ever crosses his life during that time. So I think any spin-off series would be so boring because it would just be him being like, how are we doing financially, like as the Empire? And they're like, great. It's like, good.
I need to speak to the comptroller.
Yeah,
absolutely. I like that a lot. What Marvel character needs to die and stay dead, do you think?
This is a great question because I am such an outsider to the Marvel movies. Like, I've only seen like a very select few.
Good.
So this will be a very uninformed answer. I've never seen any of his movies. But I have to say Captain America. Because as an outsider who hasn't watched any, the branding and everything about him just feels so boring. Like his whole thing is just the country that he's from is wild to me.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
There's not like private Australia, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. Like it's like the most like Captain America was like a word generator of how to make a superhero, and they were like, we got it.
Nailed it in one. Stanley's like, oh god, he's got to be a superhero from America. What should his name be? I don't know why he's Gilbert Gottfried.
I don't know. But I could be so wrong. I have not seen any of his movies, so they could be amazing, and I just don't know.
I will say this: I agree with you. Having seen 2, 3, I've seen all 3 of the Captain America movies that have come out. And then there's this new one that's coming out, and the only reason I'm interested is they got Harrison Ford. I do love him,
Yeah.
But what can you do? I like, but the idea of like it's just he's from the country he's from. That's his whole thing.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You are right.
It's like I don't. What more is there to know about him? I feel like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
He loves popcorn. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like I don't like him because he's like me. We're just very, basic, and yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe could be. Final question is, as always, why is Austin Powers so sexy?
I think it's just the power of Mike Myers,
Okay.
I just think it's all the actor. I think that he just brings the suaviness and the chuckles. I think there's nothing more sexier than a good chuckle than you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's having a good time.
Yeah.
he's also like, I think that's very well put, because if it was in the hands of another comedic actor, I don't know if it would have worked.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if it was David Spade, it would be awful.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I think Mike Myers is like obviously a funny, silly guy, but he's also like a proper actor. And so I think he can give the role the juice that it needs, whereas maybe just a comedian might just play it silly, and you might be more laughing at him rather than caring about him.
Yeah, that's true. Mike Myers has a fair amount of pathos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. I like that answer a lot. Are you ready for the game?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on randomwordgenerator.com.
Good.
Here we go. Hitting the button. Brrr. Side. Okay. Side. Now I'm thinking about Sideways, thinking about Paul Giamatti again.
Yeah.
You know, one must.
Yeah, he's usually on the mind, to be frank.
Yeah.
It's easy to pull that out of the mind.
Yeah. Side, I feel like, for me, could be about, you know, you have to pick a side, obviously, in like an argument or something. And
yeah.
I feel like it could be about a couple who's having a disagreement about what to do with their home, and then they get the homeowners association involved, and it spirals out, and because it turns like the homeowner association is somehow like linked to the mob, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, the homeowners association, I like this. I think I want this to be like a children's movie.
Okay.
And I want a children's movie about the homeowners associate. Like, I want that to be a big part of it. And I want kids to be watching the movie being like, what is this? And the parents to be like, this is so boring.
I think I got it then. I think the moral has to be that the home association, they're bad. And I feel like it's got to be, there's a local election, and it's so clear that there's gerrymandering. Because I feel like a new family wants to move in, and there's some sort of ethnic minority, and the homeowners association is like, oh, we don't want them here because of some dumb reason. Like they're making something up. And so it's about this kid and their new friend that isn't allowed to really interact with them, you know? What do you think about that?
And I feel like because it's a kid's movie, the friend should be like an animated like kangaroo or something. Like, it's the only animated aspect of the whole movie. And it's totally the thing where they do the move where they market it as like a silly like movie where it's like, oh, there's like I'm taking heavily right now from Kangaroo Jack.
I was about to say, yeah.
Someone actually saw Kangaroo Jack and was like, that works. I want to try that.
Yeah.
But in reality, they go to the movie and it's mostly about the homeowners association and like the deep, like bland politics of this like local community.
I think that's very good. I think I feel like an animated kangaroo is great. I think the kid's got to be the only one that can see it, right? It's got to be like an imaginary friend, right? You think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Either that or just no one cares, I guess. Like, it's just like accepted in this world that he exists, this kangaroo.
Oh, well, that's the reason the homeowners association is up in arms then, because they have this pet kangaroo, and they're like, you can't have a kangaroo here.
Yeah, they're really mad. Okay, yes. And so, but the kid I see is sort of like take side with the kangaroo. It's like, okay. And they're besties.
They're besties. The kangaroo, I feel like, in my mind, the justification would be the new family moves in with the kangaroo because the kangaroo is sick. And they're like, what is like zoologists or whatever, and they're just trying to get the kangaroo to like they're not going to keep the kangaroo forever.
Yeah.
They're just fostering it for a while. And the homeowners association is to like get it out of here, get that roo out.
Yeah.
But I feel like the head of the homeowners association, and this is clearly just me pulling from TV from my childhood, I feel like should be Jane Curtin and John Lithgow. Get them back together.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think of like who's the most boring man to. Because I was also thinking about John Lithgow in Footloose. He's got that real like, well, I love bureaucracy and stopping people from having fun. Sort of thing. And I feel like so this kid's got to make an appeal, right? And I feel like the kid is the only one that can talk to the kangaroo. But everyone else sees it as a normal kangaroo.
Yeah, I like that. Yes. So he can talk to the kangaroo. I'm trying to think of who the kid should be played as, because I'm thinking it should be like a really old actor that's playing a child for some reason.
What if we get Martin Short back to do it again? Clifford 2.
Yeah. Martin Short is the child, like a 10-year-old boy in this movie. Yeah.
What you need to understand about this kangaroo is he's actually really quite nice.
God, I wish I could do a Martin Short. I tried to do a Martin Short impression like a week ago, and someone was like, "There's no way that's what you think he sounds like."
Well, can I get a little taste?
Because I feel like when I tried to do it, it was very like proper, like, "Oh, like I'm Martin Short," and they're like, "He doesn't," and I was like, "You're right. No, you're right. He doesn't sound like that."
Here's the thing, though. I will say he does have that. He's like right about here. You know, he has that very sort of will I have a fair amount of money accent, you know?
Yeah.
And then obviously when he's doing like Glick, he's like, he comes up high and then he goes down low.
Yes, indeed.
Nothing makes me laugh harder than that Jiminy Glick with Curb Your Enthusiasm. What is it? Larry David.
Oh, yeah, yes,
he just gets more and more angry.
Yeah. He's so good. Yeah.
The one
the Bill Hader one recently was so good as well.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
My favorite might be though he turns to Steven Spielberg and goes, "So when are you going to do the big one?"
It's really funny.
It's really good. So Martin Short's playing a 10-year-old boy. Excellent.
Yes. And I'm trying to think for the kangaroo. I feel like it has to be someone with like a really high whiny voice.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who that could be.
I feel like they should be Australian. You know?
Yeah.
A high whiny Australian voice. Anyone from Auntie Donna, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I think getting like Hugh Jackman to do it would be really weird if he's like doing a character voice.
Yeah.
Or I'm so sorry. Ben Mendelsohn would be great because he's got that like lisp.
I need to like remember who this is.
He was in Rogue One, if you remember that film. He is in.
Oh yeah. Wait, hold on. Yes.
Yeah, have a quick Google.
I love Rogue One, so I'm trying to like remember.
He's the villain, the main villain in that, where he's like,
oh yeah. Wait, that's great.
Yeah, where he's like, I'm sick, mate. You got to get me out of here.
Yeah. Okay, well now that it's him in this casting, I want him to be like very serious. Like I want this to be like a jaded kangaroo now. He's like, why don't they like me? He's like, I don't know. And I'm just like, I don't know. And he's like, this is mad. I hate this. Like I think like a jaded, zany kangaroo is fun to me.
At one point, he's like talking to the kid, and he pulls out a pack of cigarettes, from his pouch.
For sure. Yeah,
I don't understand what the problem is. I'm just trying to hang out till this all blows over.
Yeah. And he's like blowing smoke like into the kid's face, and like Martin Short has to be like, oh. Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get rid of this kangaroo. Do you think, I feel like the ending should probably be Martin Short frees the kangaroo. He's like, just fly, get out of here. And then I think John Lithgow's there, of course, to like recreate Harry and the Hendersons. Don't you see? We don't want you here no more.
Yeah.
But then the kangaroo starts hopping away, and then it is like immediately hit by like a semi truck. All this fuss.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. And and then I think immediately like another kangaroo moves in, and then it ends with them like getting really upset again. And the movie ends on like this bummer of a note, which is like, damn, this is just like a perpetual cycle that like never ends. And like, you know that this kid has to go through this all again.
Oh, that's very funny. Yeah. I know I suggested it, but are we married to Martin Short? No, I think that's good.
It could be anyone else too. Did you have someone else in mind?
No, I just like, I feel like the Clifford callback was like funny, but not good for the movie. You know what I mean? But I do like it being a really old actor pretending to be a young person.
Or I'm even thinking like, now I'm like thinking SNL worlds, and I feel like Chris Parnell could be a good.
I don't know who that is, but yeah,
he's like
I'm gonna Google him.
You would know who he was. Like Andy Samberg era, like was in a lot of digital shorts. He was like the straight man in a lot of things, like deeper voice. Was on Archer.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. He would be such a good kid. Yeah, no.
Just like with that deep voice. And I'm imagining he is making no acting choice to be a child. Like he's just playing Chris Parnell, and we just believe that he's a child.
I love that a lot. This Anthony Bourdain ass looking motherfucker. But yeah, he's just like, hi. Yes, I'm 8 years old. Goo goo gaga.
Yeah. Goo goo gaga.
That's very good. I like that a lot. Yeah. Excellent.
The only other idea I have at this moment is I think there should be a musical number at some point where they explain the inner politics of this housing community and the politics. And it's like a very dry, like the lyrics and the content is so dry, but it's like a very playful, fun song.
I think that's very good. What I would... The way I would go about it is the kangaroo is like, I don't understand what's going on. And Chris Parnell is like, oh, well, let me tell you. And then he starts singing, and it turns into like a School of Rock short in the middle of it, where they're like explaining gerrymandering and how home associations are actually just racist and like that sort of stuff.
And it's a lot of characters singing in this song that we never see again in the whole movie, like before or after. But they're very distinctly dressed in costume that you're like, who are we supposed to know who that is? And then you just never see them again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that a lot. Who should the kids' parents be? I feel like they're not on the side of the kangaroo, right?
No, I don't think they are. I think they're very like stern parents. And I think if we're gonna go Chris Parnell as the child, I think the parents should be very young casted, like Tom Holland or like Timothy Chalamet or something. Like parents who are clearly way younger than their son.
Jenna Ortega. I think Jenna Ortega, and then I feel like Millie Bobby Brown in a mustache. Or something. Maybe not Millie Bobby Brown.
Or like Finn Wolfhard, just like
Yeah.
another Stranger Things actor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega and Finn Wolfhard are Chris Parnell's parents, and they're so mean to him. Like, I think they're like classic, like mean, strict parents who are like, "This is the way it is," and we don't like this kangaroo because whatever. Yeah.
I think one of the reasons they don't like the kangaroo is that Jenna Ortega's parents were killed in a kangaroo-related accident.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like they fell into the kangaroo pit at the zoo and got boxed to death, because kangaroos are quite vicious, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be good, and I feel like having like a flashback scene to they're like in Australia, they're on vacation, and like Nicole Kidman is playing like a guide of like, but actually watch out for these kangaroos. And her dad, played by Samuel L. Jackson or something.
Right.
Is her dad's Samuel L. Jackson and Pedro Pascal.
Of course.
Obviously, have to put him in somewhere. They don't believe Nicole Kidman, and because they go, well, we fell for the drop bear thing. We're not going to fall for this kangaroo thing. You know about the drop bear thing, right?
Actually, no. What is that?
Okay, so Australians love to, as a prank, pretend that koalas are vicious.
Okay.
And they're like, they look exactly like koalas, but if they drop on you, they will attack you. Which is not true. Koalas are fine. They're like, they can be mean. They're wild animals. But
right.
But Pedro Pascal was like, well, I fell for that. I'm not going to fall for it again. And then just gets absolutely the shit kicked out of him.
Oh, so it's like a pride thing. Like he's like, I'm not a dummy. Like like he's trying to prove other people wrong, and everyone's like, no, like you're gonna die, and he's like, we'll see, and then he dies.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just gets the shit kicked
I like
out of
that.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. I like how stupid this movie is. Like, a lot of the time when I'm doing this podcast, we actually make a good movie that's like sensical, but I'm loving this.
Yeah. I guess, I'm just trying to make a movie that you would leave and you're like, why did they make those choices? Like, what was up with that? Like,
I love it. I think it's so good.
So I guess to go logical for a second though, like so this Martin, so sorry. So I'm guessing Martin Short is like, I gotta make a plan. Like I need some sort of plan to like free this kangaroo, right? But so the kangaroo is already living in the town, but they're just not happy about it.
Yeah,
right?
They're trying to get him out.
Okay, so he said, okay, I see.
I feel like.
Yeah, because I'm my brain is creeping up on like a montage where they try to make the kangaroo like really cool, and like that their first thought is like, what if we make him like the cool guy of the town, where he's like has like a cool walk and like a cool outfit, and they're like, we'll make him undeniably awesome, and then they'll have to be like,
kangaroo's got ribs.
Yeah. Like where he walks by and everyone's like, like
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I know you said Martin Short earlier. We did change it to Chris Parnell, but I love the idea
you're right. Yeah.
that Chris Parnell's name in the movie is Martin Short. No relation.
I feel like either Martin Short or he has like his name is like Sleek or something, or like a really like 90s like
yeah, like Sleek.
Like
Martin Sleek Short.
Yeah.
Because he's a junior. And that's why Jenna Ortega's name is Martin Short Sr.
Of course. Yeah.
That's very good. But yeah, I think him turning cool is great. Like the Tobey Maguire sequence in Spider-Man 3, where they have him like in sunglasses, and a leather jacket.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, I'm like, I don't know what something cool people do now. I don't know. I vape. What, seeing a kangaroo vape would be funny.
Yeah, like boombox on the shoulder, like yeah, maybe he like I'm just trying to think of what their version of cool would be. Like maybe he walks around with like clippings from the newspaper of like used car listings to like prove that he's like a car guy. Like that's like how they think they would convey that.
What about at the end of the sequence he goes, "Oh, this is my ride," and then he gets on a motorcycle.
Yes, definitely gets on a hog
and just and crashes right into something.
Yeah,
because he's a kangaroo. He doesn't know how to drive.
Yeah.
So we have the parents who are the people in the homeowner association. Who are the people that are harboring this kangaroo? What's their deal?
You're right. Well, so like do we say that it's his parents, the kangaroo's parents, or do you think the kangaroo like moved solo to this town?
I in my mind it was like an Irwin kind of couple of like we foster sick animals.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
So, but they could be the kangaroo's parents. We could just have a family of kangaroos. Because I kind of like that, because then you're like, oh, what's this a metaphor for?
Yeah.
What social message are we actually trying to get here?
And I would love if in the end there's no message, but it's like it's the idea that like you're putting in these like symbols and metaphors that like actually lead to nowhere, and it's like, oh, I think this is all just yeah. Okay, so the parents are also kangaroos?
Do you think so?
I think it might break the logic too much if they are.
Okay, so they're normal.
I think they're normal people who, yeah, maybe they like adopted a kangaroo or something.
Okay.
And maybe I'm imagining like the first day they moved in, they had him dressed up as a real person. And then like a big gust of wind swept away the clothes. And then they were all like, oh no. Like circle closes in on his face. Like that type of beat. And then it was on. And then everyone like was like hushing and whispering. And then like the next day they got like a big pounding knock at their door. And then they open from Jane Curtin. And Jane's like, and Jane, I'm imagining in this movie has a British accent for some reason. Just because I feel like sometimes in those like childish movies, like they just make the evil people British.
For sure.
Yeah. And she's like, I've put a message on your door. We're not happy about this. And then there's like a big scroll that's like been nailed to the door. And it's like a decree of like, we know your secret. We're gonna do something about this.
That's very good.
Yeah.
We know your secret, that your son is actually a kangaroo.
Yeah.
I think then you could have the scene that's the parents are talking to Jane Curtin, was like, listen, we can't help that he's a kangaroo. He just was born that way. And she go, well, has he tried not being a kangaroo? Yeah. And then X-Men.
Yeah, I don't know how insane we want this movie to be, but I think when she says, have you tried having him not be a kangaroo? I think the mom and the dad, Jenna Ortega and Finn Wolfhard, I think they look into the camera and they go, oh boy, as if like, here we go.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of looking into the camera in this movie.
That absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that the mom and dad of the kangaroo should be Melanie Linsky and John Hamm.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
I like that. Yeah. There's a sweetness to that.
Yeah. Where it's also like, with John Hamm, it's like an all-American, nuclear family, except for one of them's a kangaroo.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think there also has to be a sequence of him trying to sneak the kangaroo out, right? Chris Parnell sneaking the kangaroo out to finally free him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
What if, okay, maybe this is too much. They get out, they get the kangaroo on a flight back to Australia. Or like he has to get a connecting flight, whatever. And then it turns out this whole thing takes place on September 10th, 2001.
Like, so I'm thinking maybe to get that exposition out there, like, I think maybe like they get off the plane and they look into camera and they go, oh boy, close one. And as the audience, you're like, what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? And then I think they walk away, camera stays there, and there's like a calendar behind them and it says September 10th, 2001. And you're like, why did there's no reason to add that to the movie, but like it seemed important enough that they were like, we have to have, yeah.
And then there's a statement that the kangaroo releases, like, oh, if I was on that plane, it wouldn't have happened. Like Mark Wahlberg. But yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I like the idea. I mean, initially in my mind, it wasn't a close call. He was just like going to get on the plane.
Oh, but, I see. But then it doesn't happen.
But then no, it does. Then it, he's in the one that like hits the second tower or whatever, and they're like, "Oh no, my friend the kangaroo." Really, that's the tragedy here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too grim and making light of a national tragedy. Yeah.
Well, I kind of like the idea of if he does narrowly escape it. And you're like, wow, what a big relief. Only for him to be killed at the end by a bus is, I think, just even all the more cruel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that is very good.
There's something just very, yeah. There's something so grim about that.
Yeah, it can happen to anyone, anytime.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what would be good, if I may, rather than getting hit by a bus.
Sure.
He lands. No, he doesn't land. He gets on the plane to Australia.
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson is there, the granddad of Jenna Ortega. The dad of Jenna Ortega, the granddad of Chris Parnell, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's been killing as many kangaroos as he can. So
he's on a rage.
He's on a rage, and he's like, I'm sick of these motherfucking kangaroos on this motherfucking plane, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so when he lands in like Brisbane or whatever, he hunts the kangaroo down. The third act twist is just Samuel L. Jackson hunting down this kangaroo, trying to kill it.
Yeah. So the third act, I like this idea of there's like a dramatic tone shift where it's just Samuel L. Jackson and the kangaroo. Like it like becomes a completely different movie for the last like 30 minutes. And I think like on screen there should be a message that flashes, and it's like, kids should leave now. Like they're like, this is the time where kids should leave. It's the first movie that's like mostly a kids movie. And then at a certain point, parents walk out with their kids, and like in the movie theaters, there's like a designated area with like the ropes. And it's like you leave your kids there to just kind of stand outside the door, and then the parents go in, watch the last 30 minutes just for them, and then they come out and they can go home.
Oh, that's very funny and good.
I feel like this is like whoever's making this movie, it's more like, I think, like a experiment or like a performance art, I guess. Is what it's turned into.
Yeah. Which, we gotta push. You gotta push the medium,
Of course.
And then Samuel L. Jackson actually tracks him down and kills him, do you think?
I think so. Now that we know it's just parents in there, I think for sure he tracks him down, and it's like a very gory, like
knockout.
Yeah.
Do they both die, or just Samuel, or just the kangaroo?
Maybe they do both die. Like I'm imagining a scene like at the end of There Will Be Blood, like where they're they're both so deflated and tired after this journey, and I think they both die like that.
And I think it should be like almost an accident.
Yeah.
Because then it's even stupider. You know? It's like, what are we doing this for?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, like they both get hit by the same bus or something. Like they're fighting in the streets or something. Or like,
I think them both getting hit by the same bus is very good.
yeah.
Just because then it's not even the satisfaction of them doing it to each other.
Yeah. That's like, that's so bleak. Like it really does. Like there's no resolution. Like you're not left with nothing. Like it's like, damn, like, all right. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh.
And then once they die, I think a message flashes on screen that says you can bring the kids back in. And then they bring the kids back in. And there's one last musical number that says that's all about the golden rule, or like some sort of lesson that they're just shoehorning in at the end. And they're like, I guess maybe that had to do with the movie, but
question mark?
It did. Yeah.
That's very funny. Love it. Yeah. 10 out of 10 would watch.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Who do you think should direct this thing?
Yeah. I think whoever just directed the Reagan movie.
Okay, let me look that up.
I actually have no idea.
That's very good. It's a film I refuse to watch, but it's doing well.
Yeah, likewise.
Reagan.
Sam McNamara.
Sean McNamara, who also did nothing I've ever heard of before. Cats and Dogs 3,
too.
Paws Unite. There you go.
Okay.
Alienate
he
my
knows
homework.
Kids movies.
He does a lot of kids movies. Pieces and the Treasures of Egypt.
Yeah.
Great. Let's get him.
I think based on his filmography, he would do this for sure.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
And that side, everybody.
Yeah. That side.
You want to do a quick lightning round?
Yeah, for sure.
Great. So the first one is, so we both do a pitch on the same word.
Okay.
First one is whisper. Whisper. Yeah, my for Whisper, for me, I feel like it is a horror film where a demon takes your voice away and you're not able to tell anyone what's going on and no one believes you. And then they end up either murdering you or sending you into an insane asylum. That's Whisper.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, I would watch that. Mine is a football quarterback in the NFL, and he one day it's unexplained why, but he can only whisper, and so he's in the pocket, he's on the field, and he's trying to yell things, he's trying to get a hold of his team, but he's just like, let's go. And they're like, what are you saying? What are you saying? He's like, let's go. Like, what? No, what? And it's just like, it's very frustrating, and he can't do his job anymore. And so he gets really sad, and he has to quit, and he's shut out of the league. And then he discovers ASMR, and then becomes a superhero in that medium. Yeah.
So good. That's very funny.
Yeah.
The next one we have is Dealer. I think for me, Dealer is about someone who works in a casino in Vegas. And she is, obviously, she works the blackjack table as the dealer. And she is a Mormon and is trying to use her time with the people at the table to convert them to the Church of Latter-day Saints, and played by Catherine Hahn.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah. And this feels like an Oscar bait movie to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then over
yeah.
the course, she meets a woman at the blackjack table and falls in love with her. And then she has a crisis of faith and she has to wrestle with that.
Yeah. That's good. This could be a real movie.
Thanks.
I think dealer for me is like a used car dealer.
Yes.
And but he discovers that one of his cars is Herbie fully loaded. And I don't actually know if that's their name. I don't know if fully loaded is their last name.
It's just Herbie the Love Bug.
That makes sense.
But it's so funny because that means it has to be from the Lindsay.
It's specifically from that movie. And so they have like a whole lot of cars. And one day he like has a client. He's like, yeah, there's this one. There's like a 98 Oldsmobile, like an 82 Ford. And then they get to this car and the car is like, hey, don't sell me. And the dealer's like, give me a second. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm Herbie. He's like, oh no. And then I think the movie but then the client is like, I want that car. And he's like, and he's like, it's for sale. I want to buy it. And then the guy is such a pushover that he sells the car. And then the movie is a journey of him trying to get the car back and restore Herbie to the racetrack.
I like that.
Yeah. And I think the dealer, the car dealership guy, is played by, I'm going to say Mark Hamill.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I can imagine dealer and then the slug would be One Last Ride.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Got one more, and it is Mushroom.
Okay.
So, mine is a sci-fi horror film where there is a place in a house where if you go there, you slowly turn into jelly. And it's called the Mushroom. Yeah. It's the room where you turn into mush.
Yes.
So stupid.
No, I love that a lot. I think that's great. Because like the whole beginning of the movie is people be like, hey man, you ever been to the mushroom?
Exactly.
Like, no, what's that? Oh, probably wouldn't be cool enough to go. Yeah. That type of thing. I think mine is like a psychological thriller where it's like a hyper realistic Mario movie, like live action. And I think it's like Mario is in college, he's experimenting, and he tries a mushroom, and it like brings him into this whole other world that he is terrified of and has to escape from. But it's played like very like a thriller, very very scary. Yeah.
Great. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. What would you like people to know that listened this far to the podcast, Joe?
Yes.
Stuff coming up. Got anything?
Well, check out Slop. We got shows all the dang time in New York.
It's true.
It's so true, including October 3rd. I got the dates at UCB.
Nice.
And yeah, go see Disco Horses at New York Comedy Fest on November 8th.
Great.
And other than that, no, that's it. Yeah.
Great. The way you hit it's true was very Trump for whatever reason in my mind. It's true. Got great dates coming up.
That's wow. I don't know why he's in there. Yeah, you do hate to see it. You really, that's a bummer. That's sure.
I'm so sorry I brought it up. I really actually
no, it's
regret
okay. It's something I need to eradicate.
And if you like this podcast, you want to see this podcast, you can go to tristanmiller.substack.com. I also do a podcast where I talk to people about their comfort movies called Movies to Fall Asleep To, and also film reviews on that Substack. Have fun. I love movies. I love comedy. I love squishing them together. Joe, thank you so much for having me have you on this podcast. Appreciate your time, man. It was heaps of fun playing with you.
Of course. Thank you. This was super fun. I had a blast.
Great.